Okay, good evening. Welcome to our Pneumatic podcast. We mentioned last week we're going to maybe say over a little bit from the Bnei Yissaschar about Mar Cheshvan, Mahaltzach Shain, Yud Beis Mar Cheshvan. Today was off Mar Cheshvan, a very big day. Rachamina's yard site, and was Mari Naim was today also? No, not to say Finkel. Mari Naim was yesterday, I think. And someone gave me a whole list of yard sites today, I think. From Mar Cheshvan, to the common folk, to the average guy, is a month that is pretty mar, hence Mar Cheshvan. And the goal of any pneumius outlook on life is that every moment is nitzchi. Every moment is the moment. Someone asked me recently, was it you? Someone asked me recently, tell me, what is the most important moment of your life? Right? So you ask the average person, they say, my bar mitzvah, my chasna, the day I die. They have all sorts of things. And the answer is, right now. Okay? Live in the moment. Every moment is nitzchi. And if you're always living for something that is the moment, and you don't recognize that every moment is a moment, so unfortunately you're living a very chitzonistic life. Because in a chitzonistic life, yes, there's going to be things in your chitzonis that are going to differentiate one moment from the other moment. There's going to be a time when you have a nicer car, nicer shoes, get yourself a brand new toothbrush, right? I bought myself an $8 toothbrush the other day. I was on top of the world. So in the chitzonistic world, moments change. In the pneumistic world, every moment is created equal, because every moment is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving you another moment of life, exactly the way you need it to be, in order to reach your tachlis. So Mela, with that view, Mar Cheshvan all of a sudden comes into our sight and says, okay, let's look at this month. This is a loser of a month, a bitter month, nothing going on this month. And it's a time people, we talk about different times of year where people look to unleash themselves because there's nothing as far as this man that they feel constrains them, right? You got to figure from Shivas B'Tammuz until after Sukkot, you're pretty much like held in check by the Avodas Hayom. You have a couple gap, a little gap between Tisha B'Av and El, but El is already around the corner. So really, but once you pass Sukkot, you sort of, if you're not very Hasidish and you don't think about Sukkot connects to Hanukkah, you have a nice 2 months of downtime. And that's unfortunate. I always talk about every after Hanukkah, people really feel, okay, now's the time to descend into the darkness of winter and just forget about, accomplishing. So it's always important to unlock something of the miyuchad about the moment. That's really, you find the Chassidish farm every day has its this week's parsha. It's either Gebayt on the parsha or Gebayt on the day. So Mar Cheshvan up here the Bnei Yissaschar. I'm not sure if anyone. I'm sure other people bring down the message that he talks about, but he has to be the go-to source for unlocking the pneumius of Mar Cheshvan. He starts off as he does with every month. He quotes from the Sefer Yetzirah. Well, first he tells you the Tzir of Hashem HaNichbad of this month, which is Vav Kei Yud. I don't have much to say on that Tzir of Hashem, but he goes to the Sefer Yetzirah. Himlech Eis Nun Bereach. Every month why is it Eis Nun? Okay, it's good to know. No. I as I was waiting to start before, I said, wait a minute, because I saw Eis Nun. Like I said, where does he masbel Eis Nun? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. Okay, it switches back. Once it says Gimel, it says Nun. Okay, so I'm not seeing things. It says nun below, so I'm not sure whether it's nice nun berech, right? We've determined that. Okay, so I have a pshat nun, but I'm not sure he speaks out. Himlach ice nun berech. Okay, every month, just the background. The aleph beis are divided up into three parts. Okay, you have pshutais, isis that are pshutais. You have degushais that have dagishes, and then you have isis emesh, aleph mem shin, which correspond to the ikar of the three yisaidus. Ikar of the four yisaidus. The four yisaidus, habriya. Okay, there's eish ruach maim and afar. Afar is the mikabel of all them, right? Afar is keneged ha'achoin, which is malchus, and the payalim in the bria are eish ruach and mayim. Okay, and aleph mem shin correspond to eish ruach and mayim. Okay. Aleph is avir, mem is mayim, and the shin is eish. Okay, that's the way it works. These are the payalim. Okay, so Aisha is emesh, aleph mem shin are the payalim of the yisaidis, and they are payal in the yisaid ha'afar, which is not from the payalim. So it's not mentioned over here. You have to know where the remez is, but I guess the remez is in the other Isias. And you have all this is before in Sefer Tzir. I'm not being mechadish anything. And this is what this is gebayt on. And then you have 12 Isis Pshutais, okay, which are Keneged the Chachi Hashana, okay, and you have the Isis that are Degushais, which are called Bagad Kaparas, Beis Gimel Dal, Kaf Pei, Reish, and Taf. Huh? They get Degush. They can have Dagishes. Okay, so the Pshutas are everything besides Aleph Mem Shin and Bagad Kaparas, which gets you to Hey Vav Zayin Ches Tes Yud, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samach, Ayin.
Hey gets one.
Huh?
Hey gets a Dagish.
That I can't tell you. I know nothing about Dagishes. I just know what the Sefer Tzir says. But there's this is something in Diktuk. I'm saying you are in Diktuk that these are Dagishes. Yeah, but a hay is not a Dagish. It's called a mapik hay. There's no such thing as a hay as a Dagish. There's something called a mapik hay. It's not really Dagish. You put in it to let you know that it's possessive. But it's not really a Dagish. I'm guessing. I know nothing about this, but that would be my.
You only know Sefer Tzir.
That would be my what I'm thinking. But hay is not really Dagish. You never have hay any place in the world but the Dagish. It's something that's a mapik hay at the end that lets you know something's possessive, if that's the right term. But I think it's possessive as a term. So every month has of those 12. Okay, because it's 22 letters. Emesh is 3. Bagad Kaparas is 7. So you're left with 12 letters. Okay, so we have Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet are taken from the Emesh and the Bagad. So it's a month start. Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, Yud, Chaf, Lamed, Chaf. Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, Yud, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samach, Ayin.
Tzadik.
No.
Tzadi.
No, it's not.
Tzadi.
Oh, no.
Bagad Kapar. Tzadi.
You could.
Okay, I counted mem by mistake.
Oh.
Right, so I take out mems, tzadi and kuf. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, you get the ice, and you get so every month has a letter that corresponds to it, and Cheshvan is himch ice nun. Nun that has shach Tishrei. Himch ice nun bereach. Every month has in it one of these a sense, a something right. When you deal with Sefer Tzir, you have something called Olam Nefesh and Shana, where you have space, right? You have life, you have people, right? And you have time. You have time, space, and the life, alive people. Okay, so you have bereach is the pula of the person. Okay, so there's always a pula of the person that corresponds to a month. And you have Tsar by Akrav Ba'ilam, right? So like a Scorpio, it's called, right? That is the what should we call the mazel of the month is Akrav, huh? In the zodiac, yeah. And in Cheshvan b'shana, B'dakin b'nefesh zachar nekeva, and the dakin, which is small intestine, b'nefesh zachar nekeva. Okay, that's what the Sefer Yitzir tells us about ice, about Chodesh Cheshvan. So the Bnei Yissaschar is going to, after what he says about Chodesh Cheshvan, he's going to tie in all the details into this Sefer Yitzir. The Zushtat Sefer Yitzir is going to be we'll get back to Zushtat Sefer Yitzir at the end, all the different details, how he's masber, but first he opens up the picture of Chodesh Cheshvan. He makes the following statement about Cheshvan. You think Cheshvan is a nothing month. He says entire tikkun of the Welt is going to happen in Chodesh Cheshvan because the binyan Bayis HaShlishi Sheibana B'Meir is going to be in Chodesh Cheshvan. Chanukah's Bayis HaShlishi is going to be in Chodesh Cheshvan. He brings down a medrash. But in Hakdama to the medrash, he brings down a pasuk in Sefer Tehillim, which he's going to use to explain this medrash, or he's going to use this medrash to explain this pasuk in Tehillim. You have in Kapitel Pei of Tehillim, Lamanatzeach L'nei Korach. Okay, Kapitel Pei Tehillim. It's pasuk Gimel, so we'll read pasuk Aleph and Beis. Lamanatzeach L'nei Korach. Actually, it's Asaf L'nei Korach. Now, Tzech El Shashan Eidus L'Asaf Mizmor. Ra Yisrael Hazina, Noi Katan Yosef, Yoshev Hakrum Hafiyah, right? Lifnei Ephraim Uvinyam, the pasuk is being darshed this pasuk more. Lifnei Ephraim Uvinyam Menashe, in front of Ephraim, Shevet Binyamin Menashe, Iris Kvuresecha, L'cha L'shua Solanu. You should be Ma'arer, you should inspire your Midas Hagvura, L'cha L'shua Solanu, and come and save us. Okay, so what is this inyan of Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe have to do? Why being Eire Gvura to save, right? Normally you think it's Chesed when it comes to saving. And L'cha L'shua Solanu with this Yeshua that comes through Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe. So he brings down the following medrash. The medrash is in Psikta Rabbasi. The medrash says Azay, that we have the Mishkan, we have the Mishkan, we have the Bayis Sheni, and we have the Bayis HaShlishi. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see where the Bayis HaShlishi fits into this. He makes the following. The Mishkan says Azay. The Medrash says Azay. Moshe made the Mishkan, and the Chanukah's HaMishkan was in Nisan. However, Moshe finished making all the Abayis HaMishkan was done already in Kislev. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, we want to do the Chanukah's HaMishkan in Nisan. So Mela, Nisan became the month where they built the Mishkan, right? And that was Yom HaShmini L'Miluim was Chanukah's HaMishkan. It was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That was Shmini L'Miluim. That was the first day of the full avodah in the Mishkan. Zok the Medrash, Kislev was misbayish. Kislev felt bad. Mishkan's already in my month. What's happening? We don't build the Mishkan in my month. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, "Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. We're going to have the Chanukah's Bayis Hashenis in Kislev." Why is Chanukah's Bayis Hasheni in Kislev? Because Kislev is Chanukah, and the Iker Chanukah of the Bayis Hasheni was Kislev. Why? So he explains, because when they built the Bayis Hasheni, they were underneath the rule of Paras. So they were not autonomous in the Mishkan until finally came Chanukah, and this was the first time in the history of the Bayis Sheni. They had to rededicate everything because it was Kmat Nechrav. It was rebuilt on the complete control of Klal Yisrael, and Mela, that was the Iker Chanukah of Bayis Hasheni. That's Chodesh Kislev. Okay, so Iker Chanukah is the Bayis Sheni, is Chodesh Kislev. He says, Bayis Rishon. Bayis Rishon, its Iker Chanukah was in the it's Chanukah was on Yom Kippur, right, in Tishrei. Right? He made the Shlomo Melech. He made the dedication on Yom Kippur in Tishrei. However, it was Nishlam in Mar Cheshvan, because the pasuk in Melachim says that in Yerach Bul, in the month of Bul, which is Mar Cheshvan, right? It was everything was finished. Yet Shlomo did not start doing the Avodah, the Chanukah of the Bayis Rishon until Tishrei. And Mela Mar Cheshvan had the problem that Kislev had. That what happened? We should have. Why do I get left out? Mela Kadosh Baruch Hu said, "Lasad Lavai, the binyan Bayis Hashlishi, the Chanukah's Bayis Hashlishi is going to be done in Cheshvan." Okay, as I Zak the Medrash comes along, and we have 3 months. We have the Ikar Chanukah of Mishkan, Bayis Rishon, and we have the Mishkan's. The makeup for the Mishkan, right, was Kislev, right? You have Kislev, you have Mar Cheshvan, and you have Tishrei. Okay, you have 3 chadashim of the Ikar Chanukah. Yeah, Tishrei is Bayis Rishon, Mar Cheshvan is the Bayis Binyan Asid, and Kislev is the Bayis Sheni. So all 3 of the Bayis. You have the Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, and Binyan Asid are all dependent on these 3 months. Tishrei is Bayis Rishon, Kislev Bayis Sheni, Mar Cheshvan Binyan Asid. Okay, so he says that when you look at these 3 months, every month corresponds to a different Shevet. He says these 3 months all correspond to Ephraim, Menashe, and Binyamin. Tishrei is a month of Ephraim, Cheshvan is Menashe, and Kislev is Binyamin. Okay, so Mele, he says that what David HaMelech is saying is saying the following. Lifnei Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe. David HaMelech is talking pre-everything, right? Ultimately, Klal Yisrael's tikkun is going to come, right? It's not gerada, this three bottom, right? 3 bottom is by design, right? Why is by design it has to be 3? Can't tell you, right? Or maybe I could tell you if you think about it together. But by design it has to be step 1, step 2, step 3, which means the tikkun of Klal Yisrael, which with ultimately the greatest tikkun of Klal Yisrael is based on Mikdash. That comes from the Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, Bayis Shlishi, which is Keneged, which is what happens in these 3 months, and Mimela, that's Keneged these 3 Shvatim, like we said. Ephraim is Mar Cheshvan, Menashe is Kislev. Tishrei is Ephraim, Cheshvan is Menashe, and Kislev is Binyamin. So it says this is what David HaMelech has been Meramis. Lifnei Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe, right, through the Chadashim of Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe, their Kayach, that they have the schus of the Chanukas of the bottom. Iris Gvura Secha, L'chal Yeshua Salanu. This is where Yeshua is ultimately going to come from. Okay, what does this have to do with Kairach? Why is Asaf is Minei Kairach? Why he's the ones that the big beam are this? So he says, I say that Kairach. What was his mistake? Kairach was holding by Hanhag of Lasad Lavai. Lasad Lavai is going to be Hanhag of Gvura, of Din, right? Like Mitchil Al Bachshavta Shakadosh Baruch Hu Livas Midas Hadin, right? Rosh Hashanah Al Miskayim. So now we don't have Midas Hadin. We have Chesed. We need Chesed in this world.
So
Kairach was ahead of the game. State Lasad Lavai. Kairach is going to have his tikkun because his Mahalach is going to be Midah of Gvura is going to rule. This is what the Sfarim say, that Beisham Beisil is Chesed, Beisham is Gvura, Lasad Lavai, Halach Beishamai. Right, this Indian of Lasad Lavai, we're going to be in a matziv that we could be soivel Midas Hadin, which is big was Ayla b'Matzani Shakadosh Baruch Hu. So ultimately, Kairach is going to have his tikkun, which is like the Arizal says, Tzaddik Atam Yifrach, right, which is Lasad Lavai. Tzaddik Atam Yifrach is Seif Tevis Kairach. The Kairach is going to have his tikkun. Mimela, Asaf is davening for the time where you have the full tikkun of the 3 bottom, and then it's to be Ayras Gvura Secha. At that point, the Gvuras can be Nisar because the Midah of Gvura can be their Midah, and Zay the Kairach will have his tikkun. L'chal Yeshua Salanu, this is going to be our ultimate tikkun. I'm just thinking now, L'chal Yeshua Salanu, Lanu is Gmachi Alikim, right? That the Yeshua comes with Midas Hadin. Okay, so Meli says this is. He says this is why Bnei Karach mispal davka this is their shaychus to this, and Mela, this is why they focus specifically on this tikkun. So Bechlal, just very simply, Cheshvan is a time for Gavaldik and Tzipiyah Yeshua, right? Because at the end of the day, when you have Emunah in Devei Chazal, it's no reason it can't be this year, right? I mean, look what's going on in the world. We're primed and ready, right? For we're all Maltzich and Cheshvan, right? I heard that Ramosha. I think it was Rosh Chodesh Kislev, and Ramosha. I think Ramosha was walking around sad, and they asked him why. He says it didn't happen. Or someone, there's people that are aware that what's waiting. It's like, when it's there b'koyach, you could feel it in the air if you have your antennas up, if you have the ratzon up. So this is basically the chodesh of Cheshvan of what he's being megala. Meli too, so he says Azay. Vasa, what is himlach eis nun bereach? I don't see that he's being maz ben nun, but I guess it's pretty obvious what nun is, right? Because nun is nefila, which means nefilas hamachos, which is a chesaron of mikdash, and the tikkun of nun is going to be ultimate the bayis shlishi. So himlach eis nun, which is the chelik of the isis, which is merumitz in nefila of malchus, right? Right, nafal isaisiv kum besulas yisrael, which is bechinas machos, which is based on mikdash, right? This is where nun gets its tikkun, which is going to be, which ultimately, when you have nefila, means nefila is going to be mesukan. So Cheshvan is a month that has a tikkun of nice nun. Himlach eis nun bereach. He says reach is the one sense of all the senses that was not nifkam b'chet adam rishon. It's mesukan already. So Meil Cheshvan, the month that Mashiach ben David is going to come, that you have, so that there the chush harech is what allows the fact that the reich, which was not nifgam by chet adam rishon, because he says by chet adam rishon, all senses were described. She saw it, right? She tasted it. The Nachash spoke to her, right? She obviously felt it, right? The one thing we don't find the chush that was used is reich, and Meil reich was not nifgam. And Meil Reach is something that has to do with Mashiach, because it has to do with the Olam HaTikun. And he says that brings out the pasuk that says Malach Mashiach is Ve'reichai b'yiras Elikim. This idea of Reach is mentioned by him. The Chutz Reach. What? Yeah. Actually, yes, but that's Himach Eis Nun Bereach, and he says also. By Akrav Ba'ilam. So what does he say about it? But he says Akrav is Iker bias. Iker bias is going to be, that's interesting. And he says something else also about Akrav. What do you say about Akrav? Akrav is Gmatcha Dav Mashiach. Okay. It doesn't really connect it to what we think of a scorpion, but it stands for Iker bias is going to be, which is binyan asid, binyan shlishi, and akar d'gmatcha daven Mashiach. Okay, what was the last thing we have to do? Akrav dakim and nefesh in the cave. Okay, we'll leave dakin off. He says something about dakin. Dakin has to do with Klal Yisrael being the inyan of dakin. The way they work is they're very pressed together. The small intestines. And he says kol echad. Right, what he brings down when it comes to treifas, how the dakin are megan on each other. I think he doesn't bring, but that's Mavur, I think. And he says that the dakin is the inyan of Achdus, which is ultimately the ultimate Mashiach is going to be this Achdus. Okay, that's the Bnei Yissaschar Cheshvan, which brings out, the something to be mitzapa for other than rainy days and early shkiyas.